हेलो फ्रेंड्स, आज का सीरीज प्राइमरली डेडिकेटेड है डिफेंस ऑफिसर्स को, मेक देम सी एंड फील व्हाट इज द कॉस्ट ऑफ डिले इन फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग। और जब आपको एक रेनफॉल कॉर्पस आता है एज अ पार्ट ऑफ रिटायरमेंट, व्हाई इट इज इवन मोर प्रूडेंट फॉर यू टू टेक डिसिसिव, टाइमली एंड नोन एक्शन इन अ वेरी स्ट्रक्चर्ड वे। सो हेलो फ्रेंड्स, दिस इज रजत धर और आज हम बात करेंगे फाइनेंशियल फाउंडेशन के अंदर, यस, आवर मॉड्यूल फर्स्ट, एपिसोड 1, the power of time. You have served the nation with distinction. Okay. Now you are in a part of transition or superannuation or even taking a premature retirement. Whatever you are doing is going to define your family security for decades. So you are actually facing the largest single cash flow of your life: gratuity, leave encashment, commuted pension, DSOP, and other things. So if we see your timeline, you have been into active duty over the years. Now you are moving to your retirement years or second line of your job. And that is where this financial stewardship is actually required. Now the mission is not just receiving the money. It is but determining what it becomes in 10, 20 and 30 years. So while you are receiving your money here, how much it would be left in next 25 years or 35 years or 45 years, depending upon your age in which you are actually taking the retirement. Let us put a battalion analogy. You might be having a battalion and recruiting the 10 soldiers. Then over time, as the recruitments keep on, over the year, the battalion then gets increased, or you then make a division or a corps. So when you are regularly doing an activity of hiring in a battalion, you see your strength actually increases. The same thing goes with the money, provided you give them a sufficient time to make money for you. We are talking about hockey stick effect. So what does this mean? This means that if you have number of years from 0 to 30 years, and if it is a 1 lakh lying here, if you go for a simple interest, it could be only say 3,40,000. But if you're going in a compound interest format, it can go as high as 10 lakhs, and the compounding effect could itself be contributing around 6.5 lakh of the differential for that matter. So therefore, the objective is actually not receiving this money, but determining what it becomes in 10, 20 and 30 years. That is what I actually mentioned in my last slide. So therefore, you have to look at the long-term trajectory. What the mental ballistics for it is the rule of 72. Rule of 72 says, if you're looking at a rate of interest of 6%, for example, fixed deposit or PPF, so your money will get doubled in 12 years. But if you are investing in, say, for example, debt funds with an average return of 8% over a longer period, then you are seeing your money getting doubled in 9 years. If you are having a 10% in hybrid funds, you are getting your money doubled in 7.2. And if you are getting into equity funds with an average long-term return of around 12%, you can expect your money to be doubled in 6 years. So now the most important thing about doubling the money is, if you look at a 12% return, your money doubles every 6 years. Now, if you're looking your 30-year retirement period, you have 5 doubling cycles. So what does 5 doubling cycle means? It means your 1 rupee will become 32 if you're looking at 1 rupee. So this is 1 double, it becomes 2. Then again, it is a second doubling that happens, 2 2s are 4. Then is a third doubling that happens within this 30-year period. It becomes 4 2s are 8. Then it is fourth. Then it becomes 16. And then there is a fifth doubling cycle, it becomes 32. So technically, over a 30-year period, your 1 becomes 32. This is how the wealth is actually compounded. What is a wargaming strategy? So you have to look for the time as well as the amount. Now here the things get really, really funny. Let's look at 2 cases. He is Major Sharma and he is Colonel Verma. He was an early starter. Both of them took 15 years. Say, for example, he invested for 15 years, he invested for 15 years. The difference is he started at the age of 30 and continued till the age of 45. He started at 45, continued till 60. Same 15 years. He was investing a lesser amount of 10,000 per month. He was investing a double the amount, that is 20,000 per month. That means his total investment, Major Sharma, was around 18 lakhs. Here in this case, it was 36 lakhs by Colonel Verma. However, when both of them reached their 60 years of age, the difference in corpus was huge. While Major Sharma was having 1.87 CR of the amount with him, Colonel Verma was having just 1.01 crore of the corpus. So what does this mean? This means that Major Sharma invested half the capital but achieved nearly double the wealth. His money had a longer runway. Therefore, the time compensated for the smaller principal. So this is actually showing you, even if when you are starting with smaller amount and earlier in your life, or even you don't have to wait for the time to be right. Even if you're starting first and doing it and investing smaller amount, that over a longer period, you will actually make more money than thinking about, okay, I will double down later and I will increase my SIP from 3 lakhs to 4 lakhs. I will still make the money, but technically you will not be able to make that money, that much of the money for that matter. So now we are looking at the scenario analysis. So what does this mean? We're looking at a premature retirement. So if we just tab these things over this, we are looking at people who take premature retirement. And obviously they also keep on working side by side. 45-year horizon. Yes, 45-year horizon. So let's see. He's retiring at 40, 45, 52 and 58. 0.5 corpus, it becomes 36.4 crore for a 40-year period. You're getting at 17.9. So here if you see, there is nearly 10 CR difference, nearly a couple of crore of the difference. So even if it is 1 crore, that it goes on to only 13 crore. So thus, what does this mean? It means the Wing Commander Rao invested in the least, he invested the least principal, but secured the highest final value up to the 45-year compounding horizon. So therefore, the time is your multiplier when you go for investing over a longer period in time and create wealth. So now let us go for a threat assessment. What does this mean? The silent attrition like inflation. Now, for example, if you have a battalion and you have your recruits who are running away, there is an attrition going on. So you cannot hold the fort. You cannot protect the nation. So the attrition reduces the troop strength in the warfare. Similarly, the inflation silently erodes your purchasing power. So therefore, the cost of 100 rupee in 2000 is today approximately 350 to 400 bucks. So therefore, there's a decrease in the money value. So what does this mean? What is the actual return you are getting? So real return is actually a nominal return, that is an FD return of 7% minus inflation 6%. So your real return here is actually only a 1% return. So now when we look at the savings account return, we are looking at 3.5 minus 6% inflation. So if you have more money lying in your bank account for that matter as a cash is minus 2.5. So therefore, the nominal growth rate is, even if your nominal rate growth rate we are looking at say 7%, is actually the real growth rate comes 0 for FDs, and if you look for savings account, it gets to minus 2.5% for that matter. So money sitting safe in the savings account is actually dying. While they have ECHS or the health scheme provided by the government, but there are specific treatments and there are private care where the gaps actually exist, and they don't apprehend the cost that it will take. So when you're talking about the healthcare inflation, there is 10 to 15%. On an average, you can take 12% of the inflation going forward. So even if you're retiring at 58 and we add, say, 25 years, the age of 83, even if what is costing you 10 lakhs at the time when you're retiring will actually be costing 1.7 CR. So do you have a 1 crore health policy there, or do you have a 50 lakh health policy at this point in time? Because once you are from 58, you move to 65 years, the new policy cannot be issued to you. So you have to make sure while you are still 55 years of age, you should be having a parallel health insurance policy. So therefore, the major surgery cost projections, if we see that, it is huge, which might not be compensated fully by your existing provided by the government. So your investment portfolio must outpace this specific 12% inflation rate. So normal inflation being 6%, but the medical inflation being 12% actually is a killer. What is the strategic dossier in this case? You're looking at the cost of hesitation. So if you have 1 crore lying with you, and you're delaying it for say, chal yaar, I will invest after 6 months, let me invest after 1 year, or I will just keep it in the account or something like that. If there is no delay, and we are looking at a 25-year period for investing horizon and a 12% ROI on an average equity longer term. If there is no delay and you're taking a call right now, the final value will be around 17 CR. Now, on the other hand, if you are just delaying it by 6 months, it would be 16 crores. So you are already having a 99 lakh deficit. If you're delaying by 1 year, it is 1.82. If you're delaying by 5 years, it is 7.35. So this is the cost of inaction. So therefore, your daily burn is 55,000. Every day you are actually losing 55,000 rupees. It's a loss per day of the delay when you're looking at it and when we see it for the 25 years. Now, what happens when you look at compounding? It is huge in the last 10 years or last 5 years. So therefore, the quantum of loss will be huge. Because when you say go for the normal calculation, आज देखोगे ठीक है यार मैं तो 4 महीने बाद 5 महीने बात कर रहा हूँ, बट द इंटरेस्ट के ऊपर जो इंटरेस्ट मिलता है या जो कंपाउंडिंग होती है, व्हेन यू गो फॉर अ लेटर ड्यूरेशन, कंपाउंडिंग इफेक्ट ऑन द ओरिजिनल इन्वेस्टमेंट्स एंड ऑल गेट्स, the effect is totally huge, which you cannot anticipate when you're looking for a shorter term. But when we look at the execution order, what has to be the phase 1, which is called as the immediate action? You have to calculate the horizon for how much period you need to invest. If there is a life expectancy 85, 60 is your current age, so you can go for 25 years of your investment horizon. You, even if you are at 58, you still have 27 years investment horizon. That's a decent one. So now second is the mobilize idle funds. So move the funds from your savings account to the liquid funds, get better liquidity. You should be having 24 to 48 years of liquidity for that matter. Now calculate the potential. Now apply the rule of 72 to define the objectives. So what are the objectives? So you might be having a child with a higher education in next 3 years or next 7 years. You might be having a marriage in the family in next 5 to 15 years. You would be having a legacy for that matter in next 25 to 40 years. So define your objectives and your allocation to those goals based on your risk appetite, your comfort with different type of product lines, your cash and dependency in the families on your cash income. All those things taken into consideration can lead to a proper allocation of your assets. Now, then you have to initiate the patrol. So what does this mean? It is your SIP. Aren't the recruits doing the patrolling on the border so that the country remains secure? In the same way, you have to start a small systematic investment plan, 5,000 per month immediately. If you are at a lower level, if you're at a higher level, the more the merrier, the more amount you put in, the more wealth you will be able to create. So purpose is to build the habit and reduce the emotional resistance and gain the market experience. So the direct way is do not wait for a perfect plan. Execution beats perfection. Now we are looking at the mission summary. So mission summary is, if you look at this whole thing, the compound interest is an ally. It creates an exponential growth. Your 75 lakhs can become 13 crore if you look at a model. So if it beats the amount, so starting early with less capital is superior to starting late with more. We have seen that 10,000 amount SIP has beaten 20,000 SIP for that matter, because the compounded had also played its role. So this has to be rule of 72. The 12% return doubles wealth every 6 years. Yes, inflation is attrition. The target positive real. You have to target the positive real return. You can't be happy, okay, I am getting 6% return at a bank. I'm happy with my returns. I'm getting 6%. No, it is not. You have to look at the real returns and also discount all those things called as the inflation for that matter. The healthcare, you also have to take care of the healthcare costs, which are having a 12% inflation for that matter. The delay is expensive. We have seen that waiting just 6 months can cost you 99 lakhs in the final value. 6 months delay is 99 lakhs in your value. What we have discussed today about the time, the compounding and the wealth creation over the years. In our next episode, we will be talking about understanding the risk. Not all dangers are actually equal. Volatility versus permanent loss. Why are they different? We will be talking about risk capacity and the risk tolerance for that matter, knowing your limits when you're investing. The commander's mindset, that is how to tackle calculated risks rather than avoiding them. Now the question is the safe fixed deposit actually the most dangerous thing when inflation is there knocking at our door? So this is a question that I will be leaving you with. And thank you so much. This is Rajat Dhar signing off.